Hey everyone, it's Tori and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. For today's video, we are going to be setting up my reading journal for July 2025. But first, let's take a look to see how June is going so far. Last month I finished the Throne of Glass series, so I have a couple spreads related to that, as well as For Normal People, which was a book club book that I didn't really enjoy, but I still made a cute spread for it. But now let's take a look at my supplies for July. When it comes to my theme for July, I decided to go with the Ink and Page Journal's Solar Witch Journal ephemera kit. I really loved the dark blue and bright yellow of this pack, and for some reason it just screamed July to me, so that's what we're going with. By the way, if you have any questions about my printing process, please check out my description box below if you are looking for my label paper, image sizing, all the things. It'll be right down there for you. Now, without further ado, let's start setting up my cover page for July in my reading journal. I started out with this blue and yellow botanical wallpaper looking background image that I printed out on copy paper, and I ripped off a couple pieces to paste down the corners of the left page. Then I took this art print that I sized at 8.5 by 5.5 inches on cardstock, and I rounded the corners on this before using my Tombow tape runner to paste it in the center of this spread. I also had a little bug in my office while filming who was loving my ring light and wanted to join me for my bullet journaling today. After pasting everything down, I used my alphabet stamps to stamp out July on this off-white dot grid memo pad, and I cut out a little bit of the background image to layer my header on top of that, as well as added some blue grid washi tape around to help bring the spread all together. I cut out some of these stickers that I printed out on label paper, again from the Solar Witch ephemera pack, for some more decorations around the spread, and after adding in a couple finishing touches, that is my July cover page complete, and it's time to move over to the right where I have my reading progress tracker and my July TBR. I'm stamping out reading progress and TBR again onto this memo pad from Stationery Pal, and my alphabet stamps are from Amazon. I like to use my Tombow Fudenosuke soft tip brush pen for stamping my headers because I used to use my dual brush pen, but for some reason the ink never really dried fully when I was using that. It was always smudging my headers after stamping them out. I think this one still smudges the letters just a little bit, but it's definitely a lot better than using my dual brush pen. And for those of you who are wondering why I don't use an actual ink pad for stamping, it's because I like how I can get really precise with how I color in the letters on the stamp with my pen, so I don't get those little like box rings around the letter, if that makes sense, that come out when you're using a stamp pad. Plus I just got used to coloring in the letters with a brush pen because I already had that, so there's not really a need for me to get a stamp pad. But anyways, back to the spread. My reading progress tracker is basically like a regular old calendar grid, and throughout the month you're supposed to highlight or draw a bar across all the days that you were reading a specific book, and then stop the bar when you finish it. And then when you start a new book, you do the same thing in a different color. You probably noticed it in the beginning of this video when I was flipping through my June spreads, and I've just been loving to implement them into my reading journal monthly spreads as a little like stats tracker. And it also helps me when it comes to my book review dedicated pages, because then I can just flip back and see when I started and finished the book and transfer the information over to those spreads. And the bookshelf at the bottom of this spread is for my July TBR, which means to be read. I get a lot of questions asking what TBR means, and it just means to be read. I've been using this the last couple months where I just have drawings of the book spines and I pre-write in all the titles of the books I want to read throughout the month. I actually already read a book in July, and it was Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which was an easy 5-star read for me. I loved that book. I've fallen in love with every book I've read by her so far. I'm not surprised how much I loved this. I would highly recommend Carrie Soto is Back if you haven't read it already. I'm also adding in a couple more books to my TBR for July, like Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, which came out in April, but I still have not gotten around to reading it yet. It's been on my TBR for months, but I'm finally ready to read it during my vacation this summer, which, as you're seeing this video, I'll be heading up to my family's cabin in Maine for the weekend, which I'm really excited about. I love being up there, and I always read at least one book when I'm there, so Great Big Beautiful Life will be my main read of 2025. That is my July reading progress and my TBR page complete, and now we are moving on to my books read log. I'm using 2 more of those art prints that I printed out at 8.5 by 5.5 on cardstock for this double page spread. I'm using my corner rounder on all of these corners, then ripping off some more corners on this copy paper background image that's super pretty. I love the gold and blue celestial vibes of this one. Then I'm going in with my Tombow tape runner to paste everything down, similar to how we did the cover page. My books read log functions differently than the previous page with my TBR on it because those are the books I plan to read, and this will be a collection of the books I actually finish in July. I'm going to have 4 spaces that will be able to fit 4 book covers, and I'll just print those out later when I finish the books. This setup is a little different than my last few reading journal setups if you've seen those. I would usually have like a sticky note or penned in boxes where I'll put those book covers later once I finish the books, but I didn't want to take away from this beautiful background, so I used this Carrie Soto book cover I already printed to map out where I would put those future book covers, and make sure there's enough space to have those and their corresponding star rating stickers below that. I decided to not do a quote page for this month. I just really love how the book stack on the left looks just by itself, but I will add a few stickers around these pages, and that is my books read log complete, so that is officially the end of this July reading journal setup. I'm going to do a quick flip through back and forth of all the pages we created in this video, and I can't wait to fill them out throughout the month. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe while you're here. Also, don't forget to check out my bullet journal social medias. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!